All right, Gary Vee's getting divorced. This is kind of good news. So I've been researching Gary Vee or watching him since 2006, right? So since the very beginning, right? So he's got quite a story. So I'm kind of happy for him that he's getting divorced. I'm seeing other people as well in his life are kind of happy for him that he's getting divorced.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is not so much like the divorce, because as you get older, and we have both been divorced as well, you like kind of see as you get older, it's like it's a pretty normal thing.
Yeah.
Like the storybook of I'm gonna get married and be together forever. You've been watching too many fucking movies. Like Ty Lopez of all people has got a very interesting and I think fairly accurate view on it. And like Lewis Howes kept pushing Ty Lopez on this issue.
Like, why are you not getting married?
And he wouldn't answer it either. And Ty's just the thing he leaked out was just kind of like, we as people, we've been designed to live together for like 30 years because then we die.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense. Get married, stay with your same spouse, then you're dead. You're both dead at 30 anyways.
Right.
But it's like you're now 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So if you're growing and giving, if you're not stagnant, if you're not townsfolk person just dead in life.
You're a whole different person I would say every 10 years.
10 to 15 years, yeah.
Right.
And maybe your spouse coincidentally is going on the same road as you. Probably eventually some decade if you live to be 500 years old.
If you're spending the majority of your days together, I would say. Like most marriages are not spending 8 hours of their day together.
Right.
They're off in other jobs. So like every challenge that one has at their job and every challenge that one has at their job, they're like subtly growing in that way or not growing in that way.
Well, look at every parents you know that are still together, like how they died 15 years ago. They're just it's miserable together.
Coexisting.
So it's not bad that Gary's getting divorced. And it's also like congruent with his message all along. So a couple of things there. One, he's always talking about like happy and happiness and do you. And like he's always talked about like, yeah, I come home. I get home at like 11 o'clock at night. In 8 seconds, my head hits the pillow.
Right.
And then people are like, work-life balance? He's like, nope. Nope, not me. I married my wife. She takes care of the kids. I see her on vacations.
Right.
Where he'll do the vacation. I think the COVID thing probably where he's like stuck at home.
That was where I was like, oh, something's going to break there.
Sleep energy there.
Yeah. He was forced to stay at home. So therefore, you're now spending your 8 hours with your spouse that you're not used to spending your 8 hours with. I would assume a lot of things got revealed, I would guess.
Right,
you know?
Really good. And so he's taking it really well. And, I'm sure he's going to be, being a man and working through it, all that. And I have no idea about Lizzie, the wife, because, she's never revealed herself in the public.
Right.
Which, again, it's like, that's always been what's weird since day zero. And I remember when he first said that he was going to have kids, because I followed him when he was like 30,
Yeah.
And I think he was married at the time. Yeah, he was married at the time. But then a couple years later, he had this kid, his first kid. And I remember at the time going, don't have kids, dude.
Right, I know.
Don't fuck. You ever have people in your life like...
Because your business is your kid.
They're like, we're pregnant. You're like, not you. Oh, God. Right? You're like, hey, congratulations. You're just like, your kid is so fucked. You're so fucked.
That kid's going to raise themselves is what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's like, it's exactly kind of what played out with Gary. He's like, I see my kids once a year on vacation or whatever.
But so his message, when it comes to businesses, he's always the guy that says, quit your job. If you're unhappy in your job, quit your job, because his number one message is about happiness. If you're not happy, why are you living in that unhappiness?
Right.
This is not congruent with his message of, if you're not happy, get moving. Stop like living in something unhappy and then making everybody around you miserable because you're like, well, I have to stay in this job.
Exactly. It's like, like if you were to play perfection, you go back in time, like, Gary, you're a business guy. You're in front of a camera 18 hours a day. Maybe don't get married and have kids. It's probably going to fall apart. Then ta-da, it did. But it's like, one other thing too is like, it's a good exposure to see those that quickly jump out of like, see, I knew I don't have to listen to anything Gary Vee said. He's totally fake. Like, there you go. It's like COVID. Like, oh, you quit during COVID? Okay, there's a quitter. Or the Pokemon thing. People come out, they're like, I'm quitting. I am giving up. I'm attacking. Like, oh, they
wanted to hate on Gary.
A little bit of stress, and people quickly play their cards. Like, oh, I thought that you were actually kind of on the self-growth path. If you're that fast to crucify Gary Vee.
Perfectionists crucify, so fast.
And so the sad thing is not like, oh, Gary Vee's lost a couple of followers, which he's not. But it's like, it's showing like, ooh, wait, is that what you're doing?
Are you the Judas?
No,
you're the Judas.
It's like, is that what you're doing to yourself?
Oh, sure.
If you're so quickly judging Gary Vee because his storybook life isn't perfect, like that means you're doing that shit to yourself.
Yes, which is why like most people aren't going anywhere. Like a lot of people will put so much pressure on themselves, like hate on themselves. Like, I can't move forward because people will laugh at me. People will be mean to me. All this shit. I can never show myself not being perfect because I'm going to get hated on. No, that's what you're doing to others. Like, that's the life that you're creating for your own self. Lucky for Gary, he doesn't live in that. I'm okay with making mistakes.
Because reality is, this is what reality looks like. Like, it has divorces, it has breakups, it has hard times, it has tragedies, it has, like, that's another thing too, processing, like I've got this collage that I'm building in my head that I haven't actually made yet of like all of the heroes, like all of these like leaders that I've been following. Like Greg Plitt died, Ultimate Warrior died, Rich Piana died, another bodybuilder just died yesterday. So it's like a lot of the heroes that I've been following for a long time, you know, have died.
Right.
Some have accidentally killed themselves or whatever. And so it's like, it's a kind of a thing of like, this doesn't end well. Like, you'll see Will Smith and Jim Carrey and like people that you've looked up to.
Jordan Peterson. The drug thing, yeah.
Dave and Shan. Like, it's like...
You gotta put me on that list.
If you're like following people, like, give them 10 to 15 years and they will divorce you by sheer...
They will disappoint you.
Disappoint you.
Like, stop expecting a human to not be a human. Like, why would you believe that Disneyland is real?
Yesterday we were talking to a friend and they were saying, they're like, yeah, you know, I want to, a really good friend. They're like, yeah, I want to do a business where I can like make a lot of money and go back and help my family and my friends and also be the nice guy, like some kind of like storybook story. And we're like, who the hell are you talking about? Like, which heroes are you following here? Like, who's this person? They're like, Richard Branson, like the guy who fucks every girl he can ever. Like, who are you talking about? He's like, whoa, wait, okay, so no.
Right.
Tony
I just
Robbins.
saw a photo where they were smiling in this family photo. I'm like, that guy probably.
And it was funny because our friend caught it. They're like, oh my god, I've been trying to live up to this. This is all fake. We're like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we study people for a class every single week, like 215 in a row.
I have not seen a perfect individual ever. So if you're trying to create some fake land where you are aligning with this perfection standard, therefore you're never getting moving, by the way, you're not going to make it and you're going to be fucking miserable and everyone in your life is going to disappoint you. Like, I don't hold Tony Robbins to those kind of standards. Therefore, I don't hold myself to those kind of standards.
What is hard is like, it's like there's the TikToks where they'll have like a dog and they'll have like a stuffed animal and like they'll try to get the dog to not eat something. And so they'll take the stuffed animal to go eat the muffin, and then they'll beat the stuffed animal. And then the dog is like, oh, shit, I'm not going to eat, right?
Oh, right. Yes,
so
I know what you're saying.
That NI and all the NEs are like, okay, I'm about to connect what you're saying. What are you saying?
You see somebody else getting beat.
You see Gary Vee getting crucified.
So you're like, never do that.
Yeah, right.
You can't play games in life, and this is back to the pain equation. You can't play games in life where you are running from pain. Because therefore, you're playing a defensive game, and you're backing yourself into a corner in life, and when you look at your actual life, you're so much more miserable than Gary Vee ever would be. Gary Vee is not miserable.
Even though he's got a bunch of scars, shot full of health, probably lawsuits, lose half his money divorce.
He's gonna lose a lot.
He gave half his money away to his brother in his early business years.
And he's still happier than most people.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't... Everybody. He's the happiest guy on planet. Yeah. And that's what you're really looking at. Like, no, overall, that guy is in abundance.
Yeah.
That's the game I want to be playing instead of don't ever get pain ever. Back up.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of my bottled up, or I guess our bottled up blast of watching Gary Vee. When we first heard Gary Vee getting divorced, I was a little sad and kind of, wrestling through, wait, what? But then kind of working it all out of like, wait a minute, there is this storybook story in all of us included. Yes. And there's a lot of exercise in to kind of separate that. And to be happy for somebody, because then you got to be happy for yourself, because on your path you're going to get dragged through the same crazy amount of shit.
Right.